On June 1st, 2026, at 5:42 p.m., the German Union is officially declared. Within hours, France declares war and has forces moved to the border for an initial offensive ready to begin. And well, right after, their invasion begins. And well, it's a big failure. Advance and looks like an easy victory. They're almost as strong, basically as strong. And well, they move in pretty well. And without a beat, the Germans' counteroffensive began. And well, the French got pushed back to their border almost. And at this point, multiple nations realize it's now or never. With the United Kingdom, Czechia, Poland, Croatia, Slovenia, Italy. Yep. More nations join, then you can say, oh, this is bad. You might be thinking, right? You might be thinking, oh no, this is the end of this German Union. Well, you think that. Let's see. With the French offensive having failed, but with all borders being surrounded, including from the north. Also, there's something wrong with the borders. And no, Sweden is not involved. And well, this leads to a big, easy victory. Yes, definitely. Looks like it, 100%. And well, the invasions begin. And Germany is well outmatched. Can they do it? France alone has more than them. Poland is basically close to them. Denmark, also weak. And the Benelux, with Germany quickly losing in the north and the south, with Austria falling into the hands of the enemy. And well, in a big surprise, a counteroffensive is launched, shocking the world. Within Austria, within weeks, they recapture big swaths of Austria. With the British invasion in the north and Benelux being pushed right back to the sea, Hamburg refalls back into the German hands along with Vienna and Berlin. The world is shocked. What does Germany have to offer, you may ask? Well, they have a manpower of 398,600. Yeah, that's a bit pathetic. But let's assume they managed to greatly increase it, because I'd say their potential to fight is much higher, with them having an air power of 685. They have 352 tanks. And well, automatic fighting vehicles. Armored vehicles, they have 38,588. They have 187 self-propelled artillery, I think. And they have rocket artillery, 33, Navy 61. And a labor force of, 48 million. I don't know if I wrote down 48 million or 4.8 million. Either way, I think it's 48 million. With Germany quickly transforming into a military powerhouse. Although they are on the losing side right now, it seems like they are taking an advantage as they quickly mobilize hundreds of thousands of more troops. Hundreds of thousands trying to get their manpower into the millions. And over the course of those months of holding off these advances, they finally get their troops they want and they test it out. Along with using their great labor force to create robots. Not really robots. Robots are controlled. Not robots are free-willed. Not AI controlled. They're controlled by humans. And Czechia quickly is destroyed, with the whole world watching this in shock, as Germany might lead the collapse of the European Spear, as they push the Danes back, with the goal to show off their army in Denmark. With this army being about 6 months in, it has reached 1 million people in 6 months. Yes. and is still growing. Exponentially, its border nations are shocked. With France, as there's an opportunity, they attempt to cross the Rhine, which they succeed in. And then quickly moving to connect with these forces and create an encirclement of, I think, Frankfurt and a few other cities, like Kolner. Yeah, but the Germans, yeah, you probably managed to launch a spearhead here and here, encircling this whilst they encircle even more troops. And while Britain is shocked, the whole world order is overthrown by the Germans overnight. The Germans have no regard. As they manage to start their offensive into Poland using some of these, as their forces by the year end, this 1 year of the fighting, they are now up to 1.4 million manpower, and they have a lot more artillery and everything because they're using their immense labor force to quickly create this war. And as they advance to get more money, they steal gold, money, and other resources. Okay, that sounds familiar. With Poland being on the verge of collapse as their coastline falls, Poland regrets their choice to join this war as the Battle of Warsaw breaks out. Well, Poland was like, this would be an easy victory. Nope, they're surrendering now. And you might say, but there's no way. This is just good luck. And I say, you better hope so. They might be coming for you. No, I'm kidding. As they quickly launch an advance into Belgium, rapidly taking over Belgium and moving into the Netherlands, destroying the Franco-British force there, and moving into northern France. But this leads to a stalemate. Now, Italy, believing this is about to fall, they do some Italian things. Yes, they switch sides. And yes, they annex San Marino. With this, thus, these forces were mostly occupied by Italy, are now under the German-Italy alliance's hands. Yes, Italy switched sides. Are you shocked? Honestly, did you not see this coming? Yes, Italy was the traitor the whole time. And well, a lot left to happen. And well, this alliance that's formed against them is collapsing, with Germany taking over the economic, military, and political dominance over the European continent. And you might think, Italy, that's not much. Well, that is true, but Spain decides to be a bully. Spain, I can't believe we're still trying to be a bully. Your empire failed. And Ireland, way to go. Beat up the British Empire. Oh, wait, this is not the British Empire. That's the United Kingdom. The same thing. Pretty much the same thing. With Portugal trying to stop this craziness that's unfolding in the European continent. And while Spain uses their entry to advance into Portugal, quickly taking Lisbon, collapsing the nation, with the Irish moving in and taking over Northern Ireland, with the Italians launching an offensive against the French, along with the Spanish. Yes, as if the Spanish would start the war, as they move near Toulouse and Bordeaux. Well, they quickly move then, with the last of the French forces and British being kicked out of Germany. With the British being in shock by how well this went for the Germans. With the southern part falling, and not long after, they march into Paris. Marching in, as Paris is on the verge of collapse. And they finally take Paris. With this marks the biggest defeat of Paris yet, and the collapse of France begins. The destruction, with France falling into unrest and collapsing. And now the British are a panic, and they are so fearful now that they will be destroyed. And well, yes, Scottish rebels Yep, the Scots are back, and the Irish are in, and the Germans. With the Germans managing the land in the south, quickly taking London, moving up north to take Manchester, Liverpool, and other cities. And then they move into the Cornwall Peninsula, and then Wales falls. And then the United Kingdom collapses, and everybody cheers. And Germany decides they want beaches, so they take over French Guyana, and they give Canada, well, St. Pierre. Let's see the peace treaty. The German Union has greatly expanded. They gained lands more from Switzerland, they gained lands from France, the Benelux region, they gained some from, well, Denmark, and they gained quite a bit from Poland and Czechia and down south into Croatia and, well, the neighbors. And they created a few puppets. England, France, Benelux too, Belgium and Netherlands. Then we have Denmark, Croatia, Czechia, and Poland as puppets, with them occupying, well, northern France, and they make allies with creating an alliance with Spain, Italy, Cornwall, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. And, well, Russia in the east is plotting their expansions into Ukraine, with Germany planning what they'll do, considering they control all of Europe, basically, or are allied with it. They're determining whether they would help the Russians expand or not. And, well, that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out. And please click one of the video